Who is the man in the iron mask? What he looked like, or just the reason for his imprisonment? The mysterious prisoner was only seen with a black velvet mask covering his face. He spent decades being locked down and transported into several French prisons and ultimately to the Bastille, where he died in 1703. Numerous speculations have been raised surrounding his person, from the narratives that he was a member of the royal family, disgraced French general, and others. But the question is, what were his crimes? No one actually knows. He is only known by history as the man in the iron mask. September 18, 1698, Lieutenant Duhunka, the chief jailer of the Bastille in Paris, wrote in his journal the arrival of the prison's new governor, Saint Mars, and he brought with him a prisoner from his previous post, whom Dunka described as the prisoner whom he always kept behind mask, and that his name has not been given to him nor recorded. In his calculation, Dunka noted that the mask may have been in prison for about 8 years to possibly 33 years. During his imprisonment in Bastille, the mysterious convict was allowed to attend mass. However, he must always keep his face covered. King Louis's own sister-in-law, Princess Palatine, was intrigued by the mysterious prisoner that in 1711 the princess wrote to her aunt saying that the prisoner had 2 musketeers at his side to kill him if he removed his mask. She had never met the prisoner before his death, but court rumors led her to believe that he was a refined man who had been treated well. Probably the closest link to the mystery is the strange need to wear a mask, though it was erroneously depicted as an iron mask by Alexandre Dumas. The more important question is, what is this mask for, and why the king is so anxious that no one should see the prisoner's face? Is he among the highly regarded public figures, or a look-alike relative that anyone would easily recognize? Or is he someone who could possibly put the throne in danger? Legend has it that long before the birth of King Louis XIV, his father, King Louis XIII, disliked his wife. He took new mistresses for himself, resulting to rumors that he is either impotent or homosexual, putting his ability to produce an heir to the throne into question. But after 23 years of childless marriage and the history of 4 stillborn infants, the birth of King Louis XIV is likely a surprise. Many contemporaries suspect that the true father is Cardinal Richelieu, or someone who could impregnate her to keep the royal line alive, and that would be François Dogar de Cavoye, Cardinal Richelieu's young captain. While there were hordes of probable suspects, some prisoners stood out as the closest to the description as the mask during that time: Ercole Matthioli and Eustache Dogar. Matthioli was an Italian count who was jailed after he tried to double-cross Louis XIV during political negotiations in the late 1670s. Louis XIV had him quietly abducted and imprisoned at Pinerolo in 1679. He was a long-time prisoner, and his name is similar to Marchioli, the alias under which the mask was buried. What made it more compelling is when Louis XV and Louis XVI both purportedly said that the masked man was an Italian nobleman. However, Matthioli died in 1694, which is about 4 years early for him to be the masked prisoner. And with that, this leads us to Eustache Dogar. After the fall of the Bastille in 1789, a commission made some searches for information which links to the masked prisoner. Some letters from prison officials seemed to point to the eldest son of François de Cavoye, Eustache Dogar de Cavoye, as more likely the convict. His 1669 arrest warrant included a letter from a royal minister instructing jailers to restrict his contact with others and to threaten him with death if he speaks one word except about his actual needs. Dogar was frequently transported into several, and once transported, he is placed in a covered chair so that passers-by would not see his face. While 𝗙𝗣𝗟 seems the closest to being the mass prisoner, historians can't really tell who he was or even if his name was just an alias. But one theory stands out. The great secret must have been that he and the King Louis had the same father, and that the king was illegitimate and had no right to the throne. If Eustache dared to even give a hint, Louis would have made sure that he never talked. That would explain why the prison governor had orders to kill the prisoner if he tried to speak with anyone. If you're interested in this kind of video, you can also click the next video if you want to know more about the Lincoln-Kennedy coincidence and why things like this actually persist.